A very good morning to one and all. Hope you all are safe and doing well. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar. I, Sneha Raghuvanshi, on behalf of Medicaps University, Department of Management, welcome you all for the webinar. Medicaps has been a brand name in the arena of management and technical education. Medicaps has consistently aimed at creating an ideal ambience for budding technocrats and managers and helping them to grow like true professionals. Medicaps University being a torch bearer in the domain of education endures to spread this fighter spirit among us students. The global pandemic posed a challenge and we all are set to overcome it. The Union Budget 2021 was presented by the Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st February 2021. The Parliament, several direct and indirect taxes were proposed. This is the perfect occasion for the discussing Budget 2021 and its impact on Indian economy after unlockdown scenario of pandemic. Our topic for today's webinar is Nutshell of Budget 2021 and its impact on post-pandemic Indian economy. And our resource person is Chartered Accountant Sheetal Jain. For today's guest lecture, I heartily welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. S.K. Somani Sir, C.A. Sheetal Jain Ma'am, Dean Management, Dr. Harish Bapat Sir, HOD Management, Dr. A.K. Singh Sir, HOD Commerce, Dr. Haldar Sharma, all respective deans, HODs, faculty colleagues, and dear students. Before we start, let me explain how we will proceed for the guest lecture. Initial, I will invite our resource person, Chartered Accountant Sheetal Jain. If you have any questions during the session, we will have question answer session in the end. We will share a feedback link at the end of the session on Zoom chat. Kindly fill the feedback link and you will get certificate on your email IDs. Now I would like to invite Dean Sir for introductory speech. Sir.
Okay, Sneha. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing good, keeping healthy and well. It's indeed a moment of great pleasure that the Medicaps University Department of Management and Commerce is organizing a talk on budget, that is the union budget. And I know that over the period of time, it has become an yearly affair for all of us. Medicaps University, as we all know, always endeavors to spread the light of knowledge across the regions. We not only want our students to acquire the knowledge and skills, but we want them to be a better citizen of India. The today's event definitely is going to inculcate all such kinds of spirit into the students. Not only they are going to understand the nitty-gritties of the budget, but definitely its impact on the economy and specifically in this era of global pandemic. When we talk about the budget, definitely we have witnessed an overwhelming response from the stock market, right? But what exactly lies over there? What are the different things which we need to focus upon? And how it is going to impact our economy? Because this budget was most awaited budget during the pandemic time. And as the market has responded to this budget, it is giving some sort of indication of boosting up of the economy in the future. So let us know it from the resource person, CA Sheetal Jain. I welcome her on this special guest lecture. Hope that her talk will help students to understand the union budget. I also congratulate the management and commerce department and especially Dr. Rashmi Somani for organizing such wonderful event. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sneha.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening our session with your precious word. Now, we can begin with today's topic, that is nutshell of budget 2021 and its impact on post-pandemic Indian economy. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our resource person, Chartered Accountant Sheetal Jain. Her academic qualification is FCA, ICWA, and DISA. She is practicing chartered accountant for more than 20 years. Her experience in providing consultancy in the field of auditing and taxation. She is meritorious student throughout the study. She received many awards, including NTSC scholarship also. She was director of Shubh Lakshmi Mahila Cooperative Bank Limited, Indore for 10 years. She is associated with many social and charitable groups. She was chairperson of Indore branch in 2012 and held various positions afterwards. Also, during her tenure as branch chairperson, Indore branch awarded Best Branch Certificate Award from ICAI, New Delhi. Now, I would like to invite our resource person, C. Sheetal Jain, ma'am, for sharing her views. Ma'am, over to you. Thank you. Sheetal, ma'am?
Sneha,
Yes, ma'am.
good morning to all of you. Respected Vice Chancellor Dr. Sunil Somani ji, Dean of Management Dr. Harish Kapat ji, HOD Management Dr. A.K. Singh ji, HOD Commerce Dr. Haldar Sharma ji, Program Convener Dr. Rashmi Somani, Co-Convener Dr. Sneha Raghuvanshi, Dr. Suryakant ji, and young budding managers of Medicaps Institute of Technology. I am just overwhelmed with such a large participation. Really, it is it's honor for me to address all of you on the very in topic of the month, that is budget. The history of budget. Well, I have just heard that it is an annual feature of budget, so I won't go for much for the history of budget, but Dr. Nirmala Sitharaman has been making some firsts in the budget presentation. In 2019, when she presented the budget, she came with the budget in a Bahi Khata and not the briefcase that was the previous trend. 2020, she presented the longest budget ever in terms of time. And well, it was really very nice to hear at that time. And 2021, she had made the budget paperless. It was presented paperless in the parliament. Before this budget was announced, everyone was apprehensive. We were there. Everyone was thinking what will happen. And the government was promising never before budget. Let me first share the screen. Yes, as we see, Dr. Nirmala Sitharaman, she has presented this budget at 11 a.m. on 1st February 2021. When the budget was presented, there were unprecedented circumstances. COVID-19 in the year. As I was speaking, risk of having a lockdown and not having a lockdown was very large. If government goes for lockdown, economy suffered hugely, but government preferred loss of economy over loss of manpower, that is loss of citizens of India. As Shakespeare has said, to do or not to do. but government went for lockdown. Its impact was huge, as we have all seen at that time. We were all in their homes. Economy was at standstill. There was a large migration of laborers. We all know it. But government came forward, and in the period of lockdown, some boost to economy were given. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. It provided free food grain, free cooking gas, and some cash directly in the bank accounts of many of about 400 million people. When budget was presented this year, economy was at the lowest. The thrust of government was to take the advantage of this pandemic and make India Atmanirbhar Bharat. As we have seen over the years, in manufacturing industries, the market has been taken over by Chinese products. To take the advantage of this pandemic and anchor towards Chinese goods, government made its thrust on Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not a new concept. India or Bharat or Hindustan was Atmanirbhar, and it was called Sone Ki Chidiya. Why? Because it was self-dependent. And government is thrashing to make it once more self-dependent. Now, for the to receive this Atmanirbhar Bharat, how will we go? Government has made it nation first. First, you have to be committed towards national and national economy. And government is also committed towards doubling farmers' income, strong infrastructure, healthy India, good governance, opportunities for youth. Yes, that is a very important and I think most important topic for all of you young managers, because you might be saying what you will do after becoming an MBA, how you will grow in this economy. And education for all, women empowerment, inclusive development, among others. For this, I am just giving a nutshell of major allocations as in the budget so that government was planning to make India Atmanirbhar. Well, Ministry of Defense, as usual, was highest recipient. And then Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution also was getting second. Ministry of Rural Development has also received the fourth highest allocation, with Agriculture and Farmer Welfare next. It is just a small allocation over which the budget was based. While presenting budget, Dr. Sitaraman has said that she has made this budget with 6 pillars in mind. And these were health and well-being, physical and financial capital, and infrastructure, inclusive development for aspirational India, reinvigorating human capital, innovation and R&D, minimum government and maximum governments. And first pillar was health and well-being. Yes, year 2020, which we would like not to remember, has made its thrust on the importance of health and being of ourselves, of our country, of all the citizens of India. So government increased the budget for health and well-being by 137%. 2,23,846 crores were planned for health, out of which 35,000 crore has been set aside for COVID-19 vaccines alone. How to increase the importance and development of health systems? Prime Minister Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. Government has made it clear that it will invest more and more in swasthya or health of the citizens of country. Therefore, it has planned more than 64,000 crores over 6 years on this scheme. Mission Poshan, to give nutritional food to all the people in India. All the citizens should have access to nutritional food in India. It starts with youngsters, with school-going students. Universal coverage of water supply. It is really a sad state of affairs that still many in our country are not getting clean drinking water, and they have to go for many long distances to get clean water. Therefore, government will thrust on it to provide water supply to the whole of country. Next is Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat. Swachh Bharat, or I would say Swachh Indore. We are going to get this award for the 5th time. And I would like to add to this. After Indore has become clean city, cleanest city in India, there has been improvement in health of India. Yes, if you contact the laboratories or other things, they will affirm it that the number of cases of malaria have gone down. It's a fact. And also, as more and more cleaner we get, the diseases related to unclean habits will reduce. So I think we at Indore are more adept to say that yes, Swachh Bharat will lead to Swasth Bharat. Clean air, and to get the clean air, the government has come with vehicle scrapping policy. Old vehicles which emit more and more pollution will have to be scrapped in a span of 15 to 20 years. After that, there's the vaccines. Yes, India wants to have its own home developed vaccines. We need India. We have vaccines manufactured in India. And not only on COVID, but on all other diseases, government plans to make vaccines in India, give more and more thrust to research and development of vaccines in India. Health sector will always be priority in this year, and I think government is going for large hospitals, and more infrastructure to the hospitals. Second pillar that Nirmala Sitharaman has said is physical and financial capital infrastructure. For economy to grow, for more and more people to be employed, more increase in employment, we need capital. Therefore, the budget had emphasized on increasing this physical and capital expenditure on infrastructure and other things. What is physical and financial capital infrastructure? Financial capital, we can say loans. We can say a capital required for making making any new industry or for development of older industries. But physical capital in the sense of infrastructure, roads, transport, ease of doing business, etc. For this, government has in its budget, first thing that it is included is production-linked incentive scheme. The more you produce, more incentives you will get. The better you produce, more incentives you will get. And for next is monetizing assets. Well, monetizing assets, it is like this. If you are having an asset and it is just lying idle, but but you come with a scheme so that that asset gives you some income. Like they have made some committees for railways. Railways having lot of idle assets which will be utilized to get income from them. Railways is also making schemes to give on rent. It's transport of goods corridors to private sector. National Highway Authority of India, they are giving roads to private sector for maintaining the roads, and they will collect tolls, of which a fixed income is given to government, and government is free from maintaining the roads. Similarly, other government is also going for renting of airports, ocean vessels, etc. And increase in capital budget. Let's me differentiate between capital and revenue. I think most of you will be aware, but capital, it does not give any expenditure of capital does not give you direct benefit. Revenue expenditure gives you direct benefit, but capital expenditure, it gives you benefit over a period of years, and it will be more than the direct benefit from any revenue expenditure. If we see this graph, the capital expenditure in the year 21-22 budget estimate, it is 5.54 crores, almost 20% increase as compared to previous year. Capital expenditure will also increase employment for youth. The more capital introduced in the economy, more industries will grow, more startups will come, more people will try to be self-employed, and therefore this budget emphasizes on capital expenditure. Further, for infusing more reforms in infrastructure, budget proposes infrastructure financing development financing institution. It will be professionally managed institution, and 20,000 crores have been allocated. It targets to lend at least 5 lakh crores over the year. What does that mean? Lending portfolio. This means government is providing capital, providing loans to the MSME sector, to the industries, to the startups. It will give easy cash loans to business entities. Yes, cash economy last year, all businesses are cash deprived. They are struggling. And if they get this infusion from government, this loan from government, it will definitely help the business to grow, help the industries to grow, and to give more and more employment. Asset monetization of infrastructure. As we have seen, capital expenditure is increased, and government, to get the revenues, to get the source of income, it is making asset monetization of infrastructure. National highways, I have just explained how government is going to do. It will also go for build, operate, levy, bolt system. Railways, it will be monetize dedicated freight corridor assets for operations and maintenance. Private sector will be given corridors where they can operate and maintain and give a fixed ratio of revenue to the government. Airports are also being given for rent. They are trying to find more and more sources to the idle assets that are lying with the government. They are being utilized to generate income for the government. You see, this budget has not made any new taxes, any new income taxes. So how the government will get a source of income? So it is going for monetizing of its idle assets. As it is going for capital structure, as Madam Sitaraman, she has told she will try to increase employment, increase the economy. So first and foremost, we need a strong infrastructure. For this, the budget proposed 11,000 kilometers of national highway corridors, economic corridors, and capital expenditure on roads and transport has been increased. A lot of it has been given to Ministry of Road and Transport. Unless there is infrastructure supporting the business, industries, it will be difficult for the road of development. Therefore, lots and lots of emphasis on infrastructure. Next is insurance sector. I think you might have heard somewhere government is going to sell LIC. Government is making introducing foreign capital in insurance sector. Yes, it is increasing foreign direct investment (FDI) in insurance sector from 49% to 74%. It will be a boost to insurance sector. Although it is going for FDI increase, it is not selling the country. It is not going for whole control in foreign hands. Majority of directors on the board should be resident Indians. Not only citizen of India, but residents Indians. And 50% of directors should be independent directors. The government will also specify that certain percentage of profit should be retained as general reserve. That is, whole of profit, whole of revenue will not leave the country. The revenue will remain in India only. So, in my opinion, increasing FDI in insurance sector is a welcome step. Disinvestment and strategic sales. First, I will come with Life Insurance Corporation of India. The budget has estimated that it will receive about 1,75,000 crores by disinvestment in 2020. If for this LIC IPO, initial public offer is being planned in next year. This alone, even if 10% of LIC shares are being offered for in IPO, it will bring a huge receipt in this 1.75 lakhs crores. So LIC, this is investment, is a welcome step. Further, BPCL, Air India, Shipping Corporation of India, all are these in the disinvestment list of government. It does not mean that the government is selling the whole of this to private sector. It is just inviting the private sector to come and have some share in government companies. As we have seen many companies which have been disinvested, especially in petroleum sector, they have done very well after disinvestment. We can say that government is losing on that, but as a country as a whole, India is winning. Disinvestment will fetch a lot of receipts. It is a welcome step. It will be infusion of capital from the private sector into public sector. Now we come to third pillar of the budget, inclusive development for aspirational India. It has tried to development of all the aspirants that want their share in economic development. For this, it has given agriculture, infrastructure, and development cess. All the money received from this cess will be spent only on agriculture infrastructure development. Rupees 30,000 crores is planned for this. As on the budget day, all the news channels were giving agricultural cess on rupees 4 on diesel and 2.5 on petrol. Diesel 4 rupees महंगा, petrol 2.5 rupees महंगा. It was not that. Excise duty was cut to compensate the price increase. Agriculture says on petrol, diesel, they have not passed this on consumers. Consumer will not lose on this. But of course, agriculture cess is on other commodities also, like alcoholic beverages, gold and silver, cotton, peas, apple at different rates. Swamitva scheme that was proposed in last year is also continued this year. Swamitva scheme is for rural development. There are in villages, people are living in their houses for a long time, for generations, but they have nothing to prove that the houses that in which they are residing are their own. The government has planned for this in this scheme to give Swamitva or ownership to them, and they will be given certificate for the residential properties, and against which they can take loans for their agricultural activities or any other business developments. Migrant workers and laborers. This was the most tragic outcome of lockdown or COVID-19. Hundreds and thousands and lakhs of laborers had migrated from their place of employment to their place of birth. I think in our life we should not see anything more like this. Many lost their jobs, many were homeless. To give a boost, government has this rural infrastructure development fund so that these laborers get employed in the place of their birth for them. They have also provided one ration card for one nation, and for this more and more efforts are being made so that all get these types of ration cards. Fourth pillar, reinvigorating human capital, re-energizing human capital. Human capital should be nurtured at its birth. For this, school education, they have given more and more things. Higher education also, Higher Education Commission of India has made more Sainik schools, 750 eklavya, but still, it seems that this budget lacks on education. More thrust should have been given. Maybe next year. Last year, due to lockdowns, the schools were closed, the colleges were closed, everything was digital. So we were lagged in school education. Please, I think we should have more spending on education, and maybe next year. Fifth pillar is innovation and research and development. This year, for COVID-19, for the vaccine, lot of R&D was required. India also came forward, and it has become successful in manufacturing and coming out of its own vaccines for COVID. So to give more and more importance. National Research Foundation has been made. Second is National Language Translation Mission. Digitalization, some more and more this language if it is possible. I think there are more than 50 languages in India, more than dialects, out of which only 8 to 10 are recognized. But if this comes into motion, we will be having more and more interaction with each and every one of the country. So this NTLM is a very, very welcome step. Indian government, it understands that oceans are also a very important source of resources. There are lots of resources that can be tapped in oceans. So it has given some budget outlay 4,000 crores. Space, yes. Some time back, Mangalyaan mission was there, but Moon and Chandrayaan mission was also there. And more emphasis will be given on space research and development. Government also emphasizes that it wants minimum government and maximum government. Of course, I am a bit confused whether it is really minimum government and maximum governance. But yes, government is trying decriminalization of limited liability partnership, small companies, MSMEs. You all are students of management. You will be taking over higher posts in any of business industries. You may start your own entrepreneurships. For this, it is important to know. LLPs. Now, any offense in or whether in LLP Act, mostly these are procedural or compliance related, and they have been decriminalization. You won't be prosecuted for such non-compliances. Small companies are given some benefits in every in loans, in compliances, etc. Now they have revised its definition. The share capital limits, the turnover limits have been increased. Small companies have grown bigger. It will definitely help more and more people to start their own companies, own entrepreneurship. MSMEs, MCA 21, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they are starting their next version 3 for better implementation. One person companies. Only one person can make it a company, and which is called OPC. They are also given more liberties. Of course, if you are after graduation, after becoming MBA, you can go for OPC also if you want to go sole and give your contribution to the country. Budget proposals content regarding economy and direct taxes and indirect taxes proposals. Direct taxes, this year there has been no change in tax rates. People were, especially middle class, they were expecting some tax rate cuts. Unfortunately, there are no rate cuts, but at least we should be happy that there is no increase in rate. The reason may be about only out of a population of more than 130 crores, only 2 to 3 crores of people pay taxes, pay income tax. So I think government has thought that for 2-3 crores, they have made no change. But of course, time for filing income tax returns has been reduced. This step, well, we are not able to understand why government is reducing time for filing income tax returns. Maybe it wants to collect revenue at the earliest, but it will give hardship to the public when after a certain period, if the returns are not filed, they have to pay taxes, interest, penalty. So this is not a welcome step. While we were locked up in lockdown in 2019, all the income tax has gone faceless. They have now become faceless assessments. Just for easing it, what is this faceless assessments? This means all the assessments or all the interactions with the income tax department will be digital only. No need to go to income tax department. No need to have any interaction with income tax officers, CITs. You will not know who is assessing your income tax return, who is processing their return. Your query will come on your mail ID. You have to give the answer, and assessments will be made. No human intervention. They have made faceless assessment at even tribunal level. ITAT, in Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, has also become faceless. Anywhere, now your case, if you are having, can be assessed anywhere from the country. It need not be Indore only. It may be Guwahati, it may be Chennai, or it may be somewhere in Punjab. Because it's only over internet. Next is relief to resident senior citizens. Senior citizens over 75 years of age. If they have only two types of income, that is pension and interest on FDs, will not be required to file income tax return. Please note, they will not be required to file income tax returns only, and they have to pay the taxes. It is not that I have been made exempt to pay the taxes, but what is that? The bank in which they will receive their pension, they will deduct the taxes and give certificate to the senior citizen. Another step was to introduce TDS on purchase of goods. In GST, where the SSE, the individuals, all the businesses are giving all the details to all the data to the government, but still government wants more and more data. So it is TDS, tax deducted on source on purchase of goods. If anybody is purchasing more than 50 lakhs of more than rupees 50 lakhs of goods from a person, so above 50 lakhs, it has to pay deduct 0.1% tax. Government is trying to close all the loopholes of black money. So this TDS is there. Now higher TDS, TCS in certain areas. All incomes are now coming in the ambit of TDS or TCS. But this year they have introduced another thing. If anybody has not paid filed income tax returns for last 2 years, then their tax will deducted at a higher rate by the person deducting the tax. So will have to be careful and file their returns. Provision of advance tax. You have to pay all the taxes in advance in the financial year in which you are receiving the income. But what happens? Dividend. You are not sure how much dividend you will. Any company may declare dividend in September, in October, in January, or even in March. So you are not sure when you will give the dividend income. So advance tax on dividend will now have to be provided only when it becomes due. This will reduce interest liability. Then I think taxation of unit-linked insurance plans, ULIPs. Insurance plans now are coming with units. They are selling the units which are giving income also. The limit has been now capped at 2.5 lakhs. Any investment above 2.5 lakhs in ULIP will not come into the ambit of exemption. They have removed this exemption above 2.5 lakhs, and it will be at the time of sale or receipt, it will be taxed as capital gains. Immovable property transaction tolerable. There is a provision in income tax that that is if any property is sold or purchased at a different rate than the guideline value, stamp duty value or guideline value as it is commonly called, then they have to pay tax on guideline value. During the period of November 2020 and June 2020, if any property is sold at a rate 20% below the guideline value, it will not attract the provisions of income tax. That is, 20% is given the tolerable limit. For example, a property is, say it is 100 lakhs property is sold, and it is sold at a value of 90 lakhs. Previously, it was the capital gains were calculated on 100 lakhs. Even though you have received 90 lakhs, 10 lakhs also you have to pay tax, capital gains tax. But now they have reduced this tolerant limit for a limited period to 20%. This will benefit those real estate that are having lots of flats, that outside properties which are unsold. So, and of course, rates have reduced in many places. So this will boost the infrastructure, real estate infrastructure. Next, affordable residential house property. Exemptions that were given have been extended to 1 more year to boost this real estate sector. Now, housing projects again boost in real estate. When real estate grows, economic growth more and more efficiently. It gives employment. It gives employment from lower sector to higher sector of the higher classes of the people. Even laborers get employment, and even middle class and to the top class, their income increases. Startup, their exemptions have been given more. I think as you MBA students who may prosper for starting your own business, own startups, this is a welcome step. Lot of government has tried to give its best. We don't know. The coming year will give us how much this will help the growth in economy, how we are going for it. But it is there. The share market has welcomed budget. It is really welcome. The manufacturers, the high industrialists, everyone has welcomed this budget, and I wish and we that Indian economy will grow more and more, and it will soon reach the much desired 5 trillion economy. Indirect taxes I have not taken because now GST Council is coming out with more and more amendments almost monthly. So in the budget, whatever is given, it is may or may not be effective in the future years, future months. For GST, time is very less, and there is only one thing that we all say for GST. It is like this: अजीब दास्तां है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म. Now वो समझ सके ना हम. Everybody is confused in GST. So here I am not taking the much of GST or indirect taxes. And with this, I am very much thankful to all of you, to Rashmi Somani ji, to all the organizing committee members, all the conveners, and all of you for giving me this patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the valuable session. Hope this session was very much helpful for all the participants. Now we can take few questions from the viewers. As we have already received some questions from the Google form. So, ma'am, I'm requesting to please.
Sure.
And there is a question that what will be the impact of this budget on pharma sector and manufacturing sector?
As I have already given the presentation, the budget has made lots of emphasis. 137% increase in capital expenditure in health sector. Health sector will definitely get boost. More and more industries will coming. Manufacturing industries will grow more and more. Indian made in India and made by Indians. Vaccines and medicines will grow. It is definitely boost to pharma sector.
And there is another question that do you think this budget can be benefit middle class people?
It is just like this. Middle class people, I think, कहते हैं ना सबसे ज्यादा जिनकी अनदेखी की जाती है, most they are those middle class people. It will help indirectly. There is no change in direct taxes, so no direct benefit. But when the economy grows for everyone, middle class will also be benefited.
There is a question from a viewer, ma'am. As this was a very special budget for our economy, many efforts were made by government to revive our economy. So there are any chance that Indian economy can achieve 5 trillion economy very soon as it triggered before Corona, and will it be able to achieve it after the pandemic?
Yes, everyone hopes so. The stock market also gives a thumbs up to this, and it is so the stock sold on about 2,000 points on budget day. And this means that yes, industrialists, industries, commerce, they are expecting that very soon we will reach 5 trillion economy. Lots of inputs have been there. Every sector has been given more and more input, more budget allocation, more and more infrastructure facilities. So it definitely we will grow, India will grow.
Look like all answered. We all answered. We answered all your questions. Is there anything else you would like to mention, ma'am?
See, budget, when it is presented, it is just like we can say on the salary day when father comes with a bag full of gifts and everyone wants what we are going to have it. You see, it is if father comes and gives chocolates to everyone, chocolate will be consumed the day, or any gift, any material gift at all. But suppose you see father comes and it gives FDs to everyone, and or some asset that can be used to generate income. That is this budget. Government has not given direct benefit. It has not made exemption. It is not given freebies. But it is trying to everyone to become self-reliant, to try to gain more and more. It is providing opportunities that you make your own assets, you increase your productivity, you increase your resources and gain more and more. You increase your income, you increase your production, you increase your income, increase of the capital expenditure. It will make more and more and provide more and more employment benefits, more and more opportunities. Therefore, this budget is a special budget. It is not, it will not give the benefit today or tomorrow. It over the year, we will see the benefits more and more. We will be developing a very, very strong economy with this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll need to make some important announcements. Please share your feeling in the feedback of the session. Kindly fill the feedback form and you will get certificate on your mail. If you will not get certificate in 7 days, please visit our website www.medicaps.ac.in to get your certificate. Now I request Somani ma'am to sum up the session and deliver vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay, Sneha. Good afternoon to all. It is an honor to give the opportunity to offer a vote of thanks on the occasion of the today's webinar on Budget 2021 and its impact on post-pandemic Indian economy. I, Dr. Rashmi Somani, on behalf of Medicaps University, Department of Management and Commerce, and the entire management groups, thanks to our today's speaker, C.A. Sheetal Jain, for sharing the valuable information related to Budget 2021 with us. She explained all the 6 pillars of budget very easy in simple language, so it is understandable to students. She explained the nitty-gritty of budget in very simple language. I would like to sincere thanks to managing committee members of Medicaps University, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sunil K. Somani, Registrar, Dr. Prathum Yadav, Team Management, Dr. Harish Bapat, HOD Management, Dr. A.K. Singh, HOD Commerce, Dr. Hadda Sharma, Co-Convener, Dr. Sneha, Organizing Committee Member, Professor Amrita Mantri, Professor Surikant Soni, and all faculty colleagues, and all the people who helped me either directly or indirectly to make the today's webinar successfully. Last but not the least, thanks to all the participants, students, faculty colleagues to attend the webinar. And last, thanks our today's speakers, C.A. Sheetal Jain. We are all inspired by her knowledge and her great words. Hope all are understanding the budget 2020 in some part. Thanks to all.